Hey friends, and welcome back to Dream Along with SG. I've been avoiding making this video for a couple of weeks. First reason is because I wanted to make sure that I had all my ducks in a row in terms of the conclusion of this video, and the other reason is just that sometimes it's hard to talk about this process because it was a very long process, and this is a program that means so much to me, and so it was just very difficult at some points. I should let you know up front, this video is not clickbait. I really did end up with a different role. I'm in a different role now than I was when I came into this program because of an allergy that I didn't know that I had. I need to also say as a disclaimer, I am loving my time here on my college program. I absolutely would not trade it for anything. I've made amazing friends. I've gotten to experience some incredible things. I've gotten to see aspects of Disney and just fall in love with it in a way I never knew that I could. This program has been phenomenal, and I don't blame Disney for anything that happened or anyone in that asset. It was just a freak thing. But without further ado, this is how I was allergic to my role. So I need to rewind back to my first week of training. For costume and cast members, we do something called Styling Our World, where we are learning about the different costuming traits, and it's such a neat class. And then what you need to know is that was the first time I ever put on my costume and wore it for an extended period of time. I noticed when I put it on that I all of a sudden felt very sick. I sneezed and almost immediately. So whenever I picked up my costume from costuming, you literally have it on for 3 seconds, you take it off, and then you're done and out of there. So this is the first time I wore it for more than just to put it on real quickly. I wore it for about 8 hours that first day. My head kind of started to hurt. I started to feel a little bit stopped up. Something just wasn't right. And so I thought, oh, it's no big deal. I'll be fine. So anyway, went to my classes. After 2 days, I really started to feel just kind of meh. And then after those first 2 days of training, I had my first day of on-the-job training. And for me, I was in costuming operations. Now, for anyone who is in costuming, you understand, or anyone who is a Disney cast member, you know that all of our costumes are kept in almost like a warehouse type building. So you're around the costumes all the time in operations. So I was working with operational casts costumes. So anyone who is in attractions, who is in merchandise, anyone who is in a resort, anyone like that, anyone who is in an operational role, so not entertainment, basically anyone who is not entertainment. That is whose costumes I was working with. And I was doing things like quality checking them, washing them, and receiving them from laundry. Honestly, I love the work I was doing. I thought operations was fun. The days went by really fast. I could not be more grateful for the time that I did have there. To understand why my allergy was impacting my job, you have to understand what I was doing. And so like I said, I was being hands-on with these costumes. Obviously, these are very expensive costumes, so we're not going to put them around a lot of windows and a lot of light because we don't want them to fade. I mean, heck, they're already going to be in the sun for an extended period of time. So there's just not a lot of ventilation in this space. Something else you need to know is to get trained in operations, you're considered globally trained, so you train in 3 locations. My 3 were Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and then my last day was in my home park, which was Magic Kingdom. And after my second day of training, that's when I really knew that something wasn't right. I left work and I FaceTimed my mom. My face was very swollen. My eyes in particular, I was having a terrible headache through my sinus cavities. My nose was running, my throat was so incredibly itchy, and my eyes were very itchy too. And so I talked to my mom and I was like, Mom, I don't understand, something's not right. I'm not outdoors, and normally I have allergies outdoors. I said, in fact, whenever I get outdoors, I feel better. And my mom said, well, do you think you have an allergy to something in your workplace? Because that's the only place I've been. So I was like, I don't think so. I think it's probably no big deal. I think I'm probably fine. And so I go into my first day of on-the-job training in Magic Kingdom, which was my home location. And I told my trainer, I said, hey, just a heads up, I don't know if it's allergies. I said, I think it might be something in costuming, but I'm not really sure. I said, I don't think it's the fabric, because it wasn't a textural thing. That's the thing, is a lot of allergies to this detergents and these costumes, it's textural, aka I could wear gloves and be fine. This was an inhalation thing, and so me being around these costumes was just making me so sick. And so my trainer was like, that's not good. Maybe it was the detergent. I don't know. I've never been around industrial detergents before. And so then I went to my leader and I said, hey, I don't know who I'm supposed to tell. Like, it's my very first day in my home park. And I was like, I think something is not right. I think it might have to do with the detergent, but I'm just kind of trucking along. We're going to see where things go. And so my next day was supposed to be my first day of like all by myself, no longer training, like earned my ears, ready for go. I had talked to my doctor and she had said, you know what, like it sounds like you probably have an allergy to something in your workplace. My guess would be the detergent. So we're gonna put you on a different allergy medicine, a nasal spray, Mucinex, you name it, I was on it. I was on Saturday because I had 2 days off. And in my 2 days off, I was outside a lot. I was playing in the parks and I felt amazing. I was like, oh my goodness, like maybe it's cleared up, maybe it's not a big deal. I could breathe again, which was really nice. My face kind of de-swelled, my sinus cavity stopped hurting. Then I go back in for my first day of work. And I felt terrible all over again. It was like I walked in and within about 10 or 15 minutes, my throat started getting scratchy. After being in the lines of clothes, my head started hurting and my face started to swell up again. I was like, oh my goodness, what on earth? And so after work, you know, I called my doctor again. She said the next best thing is going to be a medication that's stronger than Benadryl. So I can prescribe it to you, but it's going to knock you out. And I was like, great, because I need to be taking Benadryl before work. So that wasn't an option. The next thing I did was I went and talked to my leader. And I said, I don't really know what to do. I said, it's making me sick. I'm sick when I'm at work. I'm sick for a couple hours after I leave work. And then after I've been out of it for about 48 hours, I feel worlds better. And so he said, well, how about this? There's a medical accommodation form to fill out online on our hub. So I got my form and I had my doctor fill it out and I turned it into HR. And I got a call from HR about 48 hours later and they said, hey, this isn't the right form. They said, you know, this is an allergy. This isn't going to be going away. We cannot medically accommodate for an allergy like this. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to fill out a disability form. But I don't really have a disability, like I have an allergy. And they said, well, this is disabling you from doing your job. So that's what you need to fill out. So I was told this information on Friday. And her office was closed obviously until Monday, as most are. So on Saturday, I went to work and I told my leader the situation. I was like, look, so they got the form, it was the wrong form. I'm getting this other form filled out as soon as possible. And they were amazing and let me go home early so I could go get this form filled out in an urgent care center. And so urgent care filled it out, I sent it in. Following Monday, I get a call from HR that I still don't have the right form. Because it is a disability form. It is a disability form. It has to be filled out by my primary care physician. Or my primary care physician just has to write a letter saying that they vouch that this is accurate information and that I really do have this condition. My primary care physician wrote the letter, mailed it in, they received it, and a few days later I got a call and it said, you don't technically qualify for disabilities. However, because it's something at work that is hurting you, you are allowed to come into health services, which is Disney's like own set of doctors and stuff. And they said we should further be able to help you. And also they have a list of all the chemicals that are being used, so that was incredibly helpful. But anyway, the most frustrating part of all this for me was that every step I kept going to, like, oh, fill out this form, sorry, that's wrong. Oh, this one, sorry, that's not it either. That took about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. So for 3 weeks I was in this role that was making me sick, and even after trying to take action, I was still being constantly put back in this environment that was making me sick. And that's where I began to get emotional and it began to get frustrating, because for me, like I said, this program is so important to me that I didn't want to lose precious time if I was going to have to change roles, being stuck in this role that's making me sick, when I could have been training for something else that would be good for my health. Instead of going into work, I went straight to health services and I said, here I am, fix me. I'm just kidding. But pretty much I went and I said, this is my last step. I said, I filled out every form. I've been to see urgent care. I've seen my primary care physician. I don't know what else to do. Here I am. What do I do? and they were incredibly helpful at health services. I was able to see one of the Disney doctors, and he physically assessed me and said, this is absolutely an allergy. He said, your throat is still incredibly red. He said, what we're going to do is we're going to put you on something called transitional duty for 2 weeks until we're able to either find something new for you or get this stuff sorted out. And he said, and this will be a good time for you too to be out of that role and ensure that this really is what's making you sick. If you feel better, boom, we know. If you're still feeling bad, then we'll go back to square one. Maybe it's something in the air here. Maybe it's like an external allergy, but like we will know more information once you've been removed from that situation. And so I was like, oh, thank goodness, like we're on the right track, we're on the right speedway, like, you know, we're going in the right direction. I just felt very understood there. I felt like they were like, yeah, this isn't good, like we need to get you out of this situation. That would be my one thing that I wish I'd known, is to just have gone straight to health services from the beginning, because then I would have had to avoid the whole hiccups of form after form after form after form of like all being wrong and then still being in the situation and still feeling super sick. So I plan on making another video that talks about my time in transitional duty, but here's a summary of what it was. My first day, I got my schedule and I literally cried because I was finally going to be in like a guest facing role. And as much as I love my time behind the scenes, after that first day of interacting with guests, I knew that that's where I was supposed to be, because I wanted to be interacting with those guests. I wanted to help make magical moments. But I was an exit greeter at Princess Fairy Tale Hall. So I stood at I'm literally just getting so excited thinking about it. It was an amazing time. And so I got to be there at the end whenever princesses would go see Princess Elena and Princess Cinderella. And I'd get to wave at them and tell them to have a magical day, princess. It was so great. I loved it. I loved every second of my time there. And then my second role during transitional duty was a greeter at Aloha Isle. And that was so much fun for me because I did grouping there. I really enjoyed my time at Aloha Isle as well. It was very fast paced. I smelled Dole Whip all day, every day. People get very excited about their Dole Whip. I have a lot of stories from my time there. So my time in transitional duty, I'm 3 days into that when I get a call. And I was like, I recognize this number. And I answered, I'm like, hello? And because it was my friend at health services. She said, hi, Sarah Grace. I was like, yes. She was like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling better? And I felt amazing. Even after being out of that for 3 or 4 days, I was out in the sunshine. I was just out of the having those chemicals in my face all day, every day. I felt so good. My nasal passages cleared up. My throat felt better. My face de-swelled. So I told her all of that. And she said, okay, well, I've been talking to the recruiters from the college program, and we have decided we're going to place you in a new role. And I was like, what? And she said, yep, we already know what your role is. She told me my role, which you'll find out at the end. And she said, we're placing you in blank. And my jaw dropped. I did not think this role was going to happen. Talk about magic. And I said, I am absolutely floored. I did not know that this was going to be an option for me. So I finished out my time in transitional duty, and then I had like a day off, and then I started training for my new role. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. I hope this does give some type of insight into why I have been so behind on editing my videos. I am trying to get them mostly wrapped up. Like I said though, this program has been the time of my life so far, and I would not trade it for anything. I cannot wait to see what the next couple months entail as I really get jump started in. I'm almost done with training, so I'm super excited. I really cannot wait to tell y'all what I'm doing and what my location is. But that's for the next video. Yep, that's right. I have filmed an entire video dedicated to my location reveal, and also I gave you my role as well. Until then, keep on dreaming, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.